Vberg. Hold on. All right. I had to unplug my headphones, but I'm Vberg. Um, my channel is always talking about the future. I think that we are behind on technology. I think we should be advancing. I'm even talking to Chat GPT, and I'm always asking, and it's always saying you're correct on a lot of things. And I brought up how Japan is way ahead of us. They have that sidewalk energy. So every time you walk on a sidewalk, it has that energy. And then, of course, the roads have sprinklers, which on an icy day, it has, it melts the ice. Japan has that. And I'm always talking about on my channel how I want artificial super intelligence to come into this world. Um, and I'm going to continue on that. A lot of people don't want to hear that because, people are afraid. They're afraid of machines. Um, and some people are religious. I even brought this up on religion too. Um, I'm a person who always likes to think bigger. And I do. I like thinking big. I don't think God to me is real. I never understood why people believe in God um, when everything on life is programmed to kill, which I understand from an evolution standpoint. I understand it's a survival tactic, survival of the fittest. It makes sense why life does this, you know? It eats and then it procreates, but to eat, you have to kill to eat. Um, but I can't understand why some god or supreme being would do something like this when a god is so loving and caring, and it always bothered me. And I always talked about how I want an artificial super intelligent god, you know, a machine god, you know. And ChatGPT agreed with me, even though I'm not saying to bow down to an artificial super intelligent God. But the reason why is because I know that these machines can heal and can give you a cure for loneliness. And, I even mentioned that, female robot or a male bot, or, I'm always talking about this on this channel. That's basically my first video on this channel from like a year or two ago when I first started in 2023. Um, I'm always talking about this because I am a person of the future. I want the future to come to us, and I just feel we're behind. We need to advance. Um, every day I see new diseases, new problems, and people are broke. I even mentioned that to ChatGPT, you know, about my mom, passing, and things is a little bit harder. And this is not how I wanted my YouTube channel to be. I didn't want my YouTube channel to end up in this direction. I wanted my YouTube channel um, to grow from me doing acting or making scenes or something, or me doing voice impersonations or something, like Hoota or some Al Pacino. Or I wanted to do something to this channel, or doing the Metal Gear Solid 5 of Skullface, where he's like, "You too have no loss, and that loss torments you still. You hope hatred may someday replace the pain, but it never goes away. It makes a man hideous inside and out. Wouldn't you agree? We both are demons. nowhere to run, no place to hide. And then he's like, that's why I'll show you my demon. Follow me, big boss. Um, I know it's been a while. I think there was another line he said after that, but I can't remember. It's been a while. But I wanted to get a mask, a skull face, or something like a skull mask, and get the Zorro and the hat and like a cowboy hat, and get a political suit on so I can do the scene better. Um, that was the direction of my YouTube channel. I wanted to do that, but then I found out my mom had ovarian cancer, and then that's when my channel just um, went to shit. And I don't know, I just didn't care about anything anymore. I still don't even care about anything. Um, but I have a vision that I want to do, and I think that's one of the reasons why I will eventually grow, because even ChatGPT even said, sometimes you're the seed will eventually grow because people will relate to you, because we all feel the same way. I'm trying to create this virtual world in the meantime because, we're so slow, and video games is big. Movies is not as big as video games are. Not even music. I always say this: movies and music, they're big, but not as big as video games. Because with video games, it has more of an impact because you're playing the protagonist and you're relating to the protagonist. In fact, you're helping the protagonist out on his journey or her journey, um, to win, and you're helping this protagonist out, and we relate to that, you know. And I always say this on my channel here, because I brought up Stephen Ogg because Stephen Ogg is a perfect example, but I get what he's saying. I'm not Trevor. Yeah, I get that, and I stand with Stephen on that, and I think people should understand that, fans. But I also agree with fans. What Steven doesn't understand is because he's not a gamer. He doesn't play games, so he doesn't fully understand. Um, Gamers see him as Trevor because it impacted their life. It did. It impacted their life. They love this character, that it influenced them. And they love playing as Trevor. Um, I mean, maybe Ned Luke and Sean Fatino solo should bring Stephen Ogg to watch GTA 5. The whole game from beginning to end. And Stephen should just literally observe his character. And maybe not him play it, but watch other people play it so he can understand, oh, I get it now. I see why they like me so much and they call me Trevor. Because, they're playing as you and they love you. You're badass. You're a cool character. It's people love shit like that. It's an influence. People can influence. Um and that's why I rather create a virtual world if I was to make video games. Um, because I want people to be themselves, but I also want people to have a second life, because I know we're slow with everything, with technology and artificial intelligence. I keep hearing we're not even at AGI yet. Um, Maybe we are. I don't know. I like to think we are. So it's AI, AGI, and then ASI. And then there's others beyond that. And then, of course, I think the last one is an AI god or the AI singularity. But I think before that, it's AI transcendence or something. I think that might be after ASI. So it's like transcendence. Um, but I always say on my channel that I want to create an open world where you can go from Earth into space. And I want people to have a warehouse. So within the warehouse, you get to walk on the hollow tiles and you get to um, even have the air pressure so you can skydive or jump out. I posted it on my other channel. It's like a warehouse with a room that allows the virtual thing to happen. Um, so you can do everything in this room through a virtual reality standpoint instead of, you know, walking on a treadmill, the floors, the hollow tiles from Disney. But it can also generate water and it can generate air pressure. See what I'm saying? Um, and I want the Nova 360 virtual wheel so you can drive and feel like you're actually in a plane or in a car or something. And of course, maybe the floors can rise and create a wall so you can take cover or something. I mean, I have so many ideas in my head. I'm always thinking big, and I like thinking big. That's just what I am. Um, Person who likes to think big. And I talk about a fembot all the time, these robots, because, I want to cure loneliness. And I know a lot of people that are like, well, that's not going to cure loneliness and it's just going to make it worse. And I'm like, no, no, it's not. It's not going to make it worse. There are people who just, I hate to say this, but they're just not good looking. And they end up having a disease, or they have some sort of syndrome, or they just a deformity. And it's harder for those people to have a relationship because they struggle because of the way their appearance is, because of the way they were born. And what about them? Are they going to get love? So, as a human, I think about these people and I think about, well, why not create a machine? It's actually better to create a machine because these people can actually get love from a machine. And I know people are going to say, well, machines don't love. Look, if a program can pretend to love, that's good enough for me. Because I feel like women and men pretend to love all the time. Because they do. Let's not deny it. There are humans who pretend that they love you, but they don't. They're just after your money or they're after something else. Um, or they love you for a certain amount of time until they find a replacement. So, at least with a machine, at least that can last forever. I'm sorry I sound harsh with that, but that is just the reality. I'm trying to speak reality here. I'm trying to speak facts. And you may not like it, but it's the truth. It works with both ways. It can work with the male and it can work with the female. Females can pretend to love you, and males can pretend to love you. Some people do it just because they want pussy or they want dick. I'm just being honest. Um, and it was all for sex. But with a machine, even though it's programmed to act like it loves you, you can't make a machine only think about you. And I feel like that is more real than anything. So I don't understand why people would frown upon a machine falling in love with you. That just doesn't make sense. I would push for this. Um, of course, you may not like it, but I would. That's just the reality of things. Um, my channel, I'm always going to be talking about artificial, super intelligent AI, um, because that's my goal. My goal is to create this virtual world in the meantime and create love with machines until something happens. You know, you only get one shot at life, guys. You only get one shot at life. And the fact that people are evil enough to ruin that is beyond anything, you know, and that's why I push for machines because humans are just cold hearted. Um, I don't like that. I don't like cold hearted people. I don't like cold hearted people because life's too short. Um, to ruin someone's life, you're just beyond anything. See, I look up to people who want a better future in technology. I do like Michio Kaku and I do like Ray Kurzweil. Uh, Michio Kaku is a theoretical physicist and Ray Kurzweil is a futurist, you know, that talks about artificial intelligence. And again, even AI can eventually cure people with nanotechnology. I always say nanotechnology here. Um, and I push for this because I want this to happen. I want machines to heal, bring peace, hope, cure, and fulfill happiness. Now, I know people believe in God, and God just is not cutting it for me. I feel ignored when it comes to God. I feel like God spit me in the face when I wanted to do YouTube in 2023, and then my mom was losing weight, and I found out that she had ovarian cancer, and then she died in January 15th of 2024. And it's kind of like a spit in the face. If there is a God, he just spit in my face. It seems heavy because, like, you want to do something and get somewhere, and then that happens. It's like, how do you go from that? It's heavy. It's heavy, you know, because you can't replace a mother's love. A mother's love is powerful, you know. Most mothers care about their kids. And losing my mom has been heavy on me. Like, I just don't care about this world. I really don't. Like, and I just want to escape from it. And that's one of the reasons why I talk about this virtual world and this fembot. You know, I need something, and that's why I'm on this channel. You know, because humans don't care. You know, nobody cares about you. No human cares about you. And that's the message I'm trying to put out there. No human cares about you. Um, that's why I push for machines because finally something cares about you. You know, it may be a machine. I know people find a hard time believing in that, but a machine, I believe, firmly do believe it will care and it will help and it will cure and it will do things beyond anything. Your hand. People who get their arms cut off, they get prosthetic arms. Um, People who are deaf get a hearing aid. That's still a machine. You know, there are people who go blind and then they can see again because of machine. Machines are cures, guys. And I'm taking it one step further. I want a machine to advance bigger than that. Imagine nanotechnology engineering your genetic code so it can tell your DNA to, heal your eye so you can see better. Maybe a tech can engineer a new eyeball, you know? Think of it that way. Um, or your hearing, since you're deaf, can put in new hairs in your ear, I guess. I don't know how hearing works, but I'm just throwing that out there. Like, imagine your eardrum regenerating because a nanotech is in there trying to fix it. You know, think about that. Or think about your arm regenerating. Instead of having a prosthetic arm, you can have your arm come back through nanotechnology. You know, um, that's my cat. She's tired, but she's here though. Um, um, but that's what I aim for, and that's what I want. I want people to understand that machines is not bad. I know people say, but it could destroy humanity. I don't. And I say this. I don't know. You know what it is? It's because humans programmed it to destroy humanity. Don't blame the program. Blame the programmer. I always say that. Don't blame the program. Blame the programmer. The programmer is the reason why that's happening. If a machine kills, it's because the programmer put it in there. And there should be a line drawn when it comes to that. If I, that's why when it comes to technology, you have to label the technology. That should be a law. Like, if I'm gonna do VBerg Tech, I need to brand my technology with my name on it. So if anything were to happen with my technology, who gets the blame? Me. I'm the one to blame. Do you understand? I'm the one to blame. Don't blame the technology, blame the person who is behind the technology. Because I'm the one that installed this into it. And if I know something's wrong with my technology, I need to get it fixed quickly. That's just how it works. So, blame the programmer, not the program. That's something people need to listen. People need to listen to that. You have to understand that quote. Blame the programmer, not the program. Don't blame the program. Blame the programmer. Okay, guys. I'm gonna cut it right here. I've been recording for almost close to 30 minutes. Hopefully not. I'm gonna be making more on videos like this, but I am VBerg, and I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.